Hello. Today I wanted to make a quick video on how I'm going to process M33 in PixInsight with the subs I've gotten from my Seestar. So I'm just going to show you guys. I have 33, so I've got 1,212 subs that I'm going to run through here and process. So let's get to it. The first thing that I do is weighted batch processing. And I'm by no means an expert at any of this stuff. I just started astrophotography a couple months ago, and I'm just learning, just like the majority of people. So whenever I get in here, the first thing I do is I just reset weighted batch pre-processing so I don't have whatever I was doing last time messing around with stuff. So we're going to add our lights, and looks like I'm already in there. So I'm going to add all my lights from M33. And once that's in there, the first thing I do is I change the exposure tolerance, change it to 10 because the length of exposures I got were 10-second subs. So it makes sense to make that 10. Subframe weighting, I leave the same. I just leave it default. I don't touch it. Same as image registration. For astrometric solution, I like to put the data that the Seestar has for all this. So right ascension 01, 35, 26,999. You can get these all right here. Uh, Declination looks like it's 30, 45, and 26. And it's in the positive, so we don't need to check this. If it was negative, you would check the S. 2024, October 22nd. Time looks like 0203, so we'll go with 0300. And for focal distance, you're going to change it to 250 for the Seestar. And 2.9 is your pixel size from the Seestar. Once you got all those in, just hit X. Local normalization, I just check off. I haven't noticed it do anything good besides make this take more time. And image integration, I leave this all default so far. I haven't gone too crazy with this. And I leave auto crop on so I can see what it does for me. Usually I end up using the auto crop image for output directory. I just use the same folder of whatever target I'm processing. So M33. And I am done here. Move over to calibration. And for calibration, you don't have to do anything here. You I just leave all this default. I don't mess with any of it. Post calibration, again here, exposure tolerance, I changed to 10. And then for drizzle, I'm going to do a 2 times drizzle on this one. And I'm going to do a 0.80 drop shrink. And I'm going to do function var shape 3. And I'm going to leave the grid size to 16. If you want to learn more about drizzle, I recommend searching this up on YouTube or Google. There's a bunch of ways you can do this. Quick and dirty is the more you scale it, the more detail you're going to get. The higher you make the scale, you want a lower drop shrink. And you can change this function. I've used square, I've used Gaussian, Gaussian, and var shape. I like the way var shape comes out. I feel like it's pretty solid. And then grid size is the big one. The more this goes by 16, so 16, 32, 48. And the higher you make this, the more detail you're going to get, but keep in mind it's going to take a very long time. So I'm just going to run it at 16. It does enough for me, so that's what I'm going to keep it at. And once all that's done, we're just going to hit run. And it's going to take up 56 gigs, which I have got enough for it, so I'm going to continue. I don't know why this is opening down here. It's weird. All right, so this is probably going to take about 4-ish hours, so I'll be back when this is done. So we're back. That took a crazy amount of time. My computer ended up going to sleep or something and shutting down PixInsight. But I did end up getting everything got done here. So um, once it's finished, you're gonna have your 4 registered master logs to Bayard from weighted batch preprocessing. If it ever happens to you where it shuts down, you can actually go to your logs and pull up the log from it, and just to make sure it did complete successfully. So looks like we're good at autocropped. It looks like it took 4 hours and 54 minutes and 37 seconds. So yeah, that took a very long time, but we're good. So we're gonna go ahead and bring in our non-cropped version and our cropped version. And this is what I typically like to do. I like to open up both of them just to see what we got here, so you can see it auto cropped this framing here and did a pretty good job actually. So I'm gonna go ahead and use the auto cropped one because it already did it for us. So first things first is background extraction. Um, I like using multiple background extraction tools to see the difference. One of them is Graxpert. The other one's actually a script. And then the third one is dynamic background extraction. So I'm going to do Graxpert first because it's super easy. Smoothing, I think default settings, this is at 0. I put this to all the way up to 1. AI model, I just choose the latest, and then subtraction, and you just drag it over it. And we'll see what our first one looks like. Okay, so here's our Graxpert one. It's okay. Looks like it really tried to pronounce these bands here. So the second one I'm going to do, and I always do this when I do my background extraction because they all do something a little bit different. The other one I'm going to do is from SETI Astro, Automatic DBE. And this one also is super easy. You just make sure let me make sure I have the right one I selected. So my original one, Automatic DBE, and I don't change any of this stuff. I just hit execute. Okay, that's done. So there's our gradient, and there's our result. So immediately I can tell the difference. These dark bands aren't as dark here. See that? This one's actually a lot. I think I like this one better. And then the third one I do is basically manual with dynamic background extraction. And I'm not an expert at this, but I am figuring it out. So once you open it, you have your one selected, just reset it so you can actually do what you need to do. For tolerance, I saw somebody, they just kind of drag their mouse around and try to get all these colors that you're seeing here out of here. So I'm going to bump this up to 1. And that's starting to get better. Let's do 1.2. Getting more white. Just more white, filling up that whole box with white. Okay, cool. I think I'm okay with that. For The next thing I do is I generate um, all the little boxes if you've ever seen anybody use this. The radius, I'm going to bump this up to maybe 50. Yeah, 50 is good. I don't know why it's not doing anything here. Um, Essentially, you just delete these boxes around your galaxy or nebula or whatever you're working because you don't want it to remove the stuff for you. So I'm just getting all these boxes off the bands. Um, okay, let's go over here. Add these back in. I think I accidentally deleted some of those. Okay, let's see. That should be all right. We'll add, try not to, if you're adding them, just try not to get any really bright stars. If I see any on really bright stars, I'll delete these boxes as well just to not, throw it off too much. And I'll just add extra ones in dark spaces here to benefit the most from this tool. Okay. All right, I think that's good. And then that's really all I change. So I'm gonna run that. Oh, I messed up. So for correction, you need to pick subtraction because we're doing an extraction. So I'll run that again. And this is our result. Gradient. Well, that's similar to auto DBE. I'll close this out. Move that over. And so this is the 3 different background extractions we did. These two are fairly similar. You can tell that this has a different coloration in the bands here. I think Graxpert overdid it. I don't really like what Graxpert did here. So I'm not going to use that. I think I'm going to work with the one from the Auto DBE here. So let's close that. This is our original photo. Put that over there. And then I like to save this so I can look at it later. So I'm just going to put that there, clone it. All right, so now we can get to work. So the first thing we're going to do is I'm going to resample this image because it's been drizzled. If when I start running processes on it, it's going to take forever. So I go to integer resample, and since I drizzled it, ADBE, I'm working on the clone. So since I drizzled a ×2 factor, we're going to resample a ×2 factor. That's the easiest way I can explain that. Yep, that's fine. We're going to solve it next. So now we've resampled it back to our normal size. So it'll be a lot easier to process. It won't take as long. So we're going to image solve it now since it kicked it off. And these should all be set already. These should be good to go from when you did it from the weighted batch pre-processing. So you just open it up and hit OK. All right, so now our image is solved. So now we can get to work. So the first thing that you're going to want to run, that I run anyways, is spectrophotometric color calibration. Mouthful of a process, but I just leave it all default. Drag it on there. All right. And this was our little graph result. I have no idea what any of this means. Still trying to figure it out. But here we go. We're going to stretch this back out. Alright, so we've image solved. We've got our color correction. So now we can make these stars beautiful. And I use Blur Exterminator. There's other tools that you can use for stars, but for my sanity and ease of doing this stuff, Blur Exterminator, I did the trial. It works fantastic, and I am just gonna keep using it. Just gives you consistent results and good results, and it's really hard to beat it. There you go. So just to see the difference here, that's before, that's after. Before, look at how bright all those are, and then after. Just really tightens it up, cleans up the image. So now that that's been run, I'm going to run Noise Exterminator. Again, just makes life super easy. The default setting is 0.90, which typically does a pretty decent job. We'll go ahead and do that. See what we get here. Alright, so I kind of drowned out some of these areas here a little too much. I'm actually going to back that up and drop it to 0.80 and rerun that. That's a little bit less weird looking. And this is all up to you. It's all up your monitor, your eyes. So I'm going to stick with the 0.80 there. And then I think next I'm going to go ahead and stretch this image so I can start working the background and the galaxy separately. So the way I stretch the image is I use a tool from SETI Astro again called statistical stretch. And it's just open it, execute it, and that's it. Super easy. You can actually see what it did here. It actually made the colors pop out, which is really nice. So now that we're stretched, we can get to work. The first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to remove the stars from the galaxy by using Star Exterminator. Once again, it just makes life super easy, and it does a heck of a job removing the stars for you. All right, so our stars are extracted, and now we have our beautiful Triangulum galaxy here, all by its lonesome for us to spruce up. So what I'm going to do here is I'm actually going to do a histogram transformation first. So I can get rid of this, this fuzz back here, if you will. So I'm on the clone one, and make sure you choose the right one. Open up the preview. I'm just going to grab this left one here, start dragging it, and hopefully, you don't want to go too far on this because then it'll just look really unnatural. I just want to do just enough so I can still see the dust bands. Okay, I think I'm okay with that. I'm going to apply that. Probably going to use that again later. All right. So I'm going to now boost or beef up the saturation here a little bit with curves transformation. And let's see if we can, actually before I do that, I'm going to make a mask. So I'm going to use, where is it? Mask generation, range selection. I'm I'm going to use this to make a mask. Click screening, and then this lower limit, you just raise it until you only have what you want to work on selected. So you can see there's a bunch of color out here in the outskirts. Let's see. Um, Perfect. So now with this mask, you're only going to work the galaxy. You're not going to be messing with the background. So it makes life a little bit easier when you're messing with the colors and all that. And apply that mask. And there it is. So you can see it overlays nicely. You can see exactly what I'm going to touch there. So you're just going to drag it over. Boom. Now we've got a mask. If you don't like this red stuff, you can go to mask and click show mask. It'll remove that. So now everything that I do is only going to affect this. It's not going to affect the background. So all that noise we saw, I'm not going to boost that color here when I try to boost the saturation. So open up the preview, and then I'm just going to add some saturation. I like to always go way up, way down, just to see what I'm affecting. Nice. So reset. And I'm just going to boost it just a little bit, not too crazy. And then while you're doing this, if you want to see what it originally looked like, this little circle up here at the top left, you just click it. And I haven't done enough there, so you can actually see. There you can see the difference of what you're actually adjusting and what it looked like before. So bring that back down. And I'm just going to boost it about right here. I'm going to apply it once, and I'm going to apply it again. And I'm okay with that. So now I've, got these really bright stars and these nice little colors here popping out. It's looking nice and pretty. Now I'm going to try to get rid of this background. Try and get rid of all this noise in here. So the way I'm going to do that is by using the mask, but inverting it so that now anything I touch won't touch the galaxy. It's only going to touch back here. So if I use curves transformation again, you can see, it's still going to get some of the dust, but it's mostly affecting the outside. And instead of that, I'm actually going to try to do the histogram transformation again here. Let's see if this works a little bit better. That definitely is helping. Let's try that. Okay. So I've gotten rid of that. I don't know if you can see in your monitor, but I see, there's a lot of green out here. And the way you can get rid of green, if you don't know already, is by using, oh, before you do that, remove your mask. Remove the mask, then you can run SCNR, and it just really helps tone down this green stuff. So, you see that? I don't know if you can see the change there on tint or hue, but it took down that green through the whole image here so you can see. And I can see it in my eyes. I don't know if you can see it on your monitor, but definitely helped a whole bunch here. So I think this is looking pretty nice already. Pretty pleased with it so far. There's two things that I like to do with, I've done with Andromeda and with this. I'm going to try it as well. So there's two tools to try and bring out the detail here in these little areas. One is a process called HDR multi-scale transform, and another is a script that you can run, which I believe is in SETI Astro. Oh, it's under utilities. It's called Dark Structure Enhance. I'm not sure if this is a plugin that I added or if it came in with PixInsight. If you don't see it, just Google it, you'll find it. Um, but let me show you what this does. I'm going to leave this all default and run it. And so, I don't know if you saw there, but it kind of brings out the bands a little bit. And I think it might have brought it out too much. So this is before and after. Before and after. So it just kind of really made a thick edge there, which I actually don't like. So I'm not going to use that. The other one is HDR multi-scale transform. So this, I just leave this all as is for now. Let's see what this does. Oh, wow. So it brings out a lot of detail there, but we lost kind of some of that light. Let's see what that looks like out here. So that's a little too much. If it does that, check to intensity and lightness mask, run it again. That's a little bit cleaner there. Actually, I like that. So you just see it. You can see the detail now in the core here in the center by using that. I like that. So there's a difference. Zoom out. Just really, you can see the dust bands a little bit better. So I'm going to keep that one. I like how that looks. And I think what I'm going to do now is bring back the stars. I think I'm happy with this for now. Maybe I'll do one more saturation boost on this to bring out a little bit more color. Let's see. Not too crazy. Maybe like right there. Just a little bit more color. Yeah, there we go. All right, let's bring back the stars. And of course, once again, it's going to be a script from, is it SETI Astro? Nope. Utilities. I just use green stars. I don't know if it's another plugin. I watched a bunch of videos and just started adding a bunch of repositories, so it may have come from one of those. I cannot remember. But you're just going to go to, this makes it super easy. Just star replacement. You pick your starless view, which is the one we've been working on, which is our clone. And then the stars view, which is the one that we extracted from Star Exterminator. And wabam. Does it all for us. No pixel math, none of that stuff. So I'm going to minimize that. Minimize that. And there you have it. That is not too bad for 1,200 subs. I think what I'm going to do one more time is run Blur Exterminator to tighten the stars up one more time. All right, there's a before and after. With Star Exterminator, I kind of probably got to zoom in, but it just kind of cleans it up just a little bit more. So I'm pretty pleased with that. That's not too bad for just 1,200 subs. I think this target, you really want to get, you know, probably 3,000 subs on this to really get this noise out in the background. You can see I have a lot of noise here. And so I'm definitely going to reprocess this later, but to go back to the original, oops, not that one, this one. So this is what we started with, and this is what we ended with. That is not too shabby. Not too shabby at all. Big difference. So I hope you guys learned something from this. And this is just the way I do this. I've gathered my process from probably 40 or 50 YouTube videos of watching people do nebulas and galaxies. So hopefully this will just be another tool in your guys' bag. And I'm going to keep doing these as I learn and go along with this. Like I said, I've only been doing this for about a month. I just got the Seestar, just started doing astrophotography, and it's amazing what you can do. So, like I said, I hope this helped you guys, and I'm gonna keep doing this. I really enjoy doing this stuff, and I hope I can reach people and that need some help and are curious on how, how to do this stuff as easy as possible. So, thanks for watching. Have a good one.